do is, introduce yourself and also let us know more about your business. It's your time. Let's know. What do you do?
All right. My name is Joe Daniel. I run footballdefense.com. That's the main website that I work with. I'm an American football coach. Something that's a passion of mine and I guess you could say a hobby. I'm a teacher is my full-time job, and coaching is something that I do along with that. That I started a website at one point to try to help teach people about football who weren't really into it. What I discovered was that I'm not that good at teaching people who aren't into football, and so I started writing a side blog, Football Defense, which was just for coaches, and that has really, grown. It's what I think I'm meant to do outside of coaching is to help other coaches, and I love talking to football guys, and it's just a passion that's turned into a business.
I love that because what I found from that is that you found that, you have a passion, but in order to scale, you figured out, why don't I go after people who have the most likelihood to find benefit in my service, and hence you went after coaches. And I'm curious though, what exactly, how did you come to the point where you felt like you needed virtual assistants? I'm trying to get that from you.
With the virtual assistants, it's something I'd always been interested in. I'd always, I read a lot of different blogs about blogging and those sorts of things, and 4 Hour Work Week, and they all talk about virtual assistants and how they use virtual assistants to do all of these different jobs. And I knew that I needed somebody else to help because I work close to 100 hours a week in my actual coaching and teaching. So in order for this business to grow beyond what it was at that point, I was going to need more help. I was going to need somebody who could work twice as much. I was going to either need to work twice as much and quit sleeping, or get somebody else to help. And so I just knew that in order for the business to continue to expand, I was going to need help.
Yeah, so you knew you have to, in order to expand, you need help. But I'm sure even with that knowledge too, you also had a situation where you had certain challenges and fears that you had about the process. And I just want to get from you, what were those challenges or fears that you had about the whole thing about outsourcing and working with virtual assistants?
The first fear was the cost. Could I afford a virtual assistant? Was it something that I was going to? It wasn't a question of could I afford the money for a virtual assistant. It was a question of could a virtual assistant make enough money for me to cover the cost? Because it wouldn't do any good to spend the money for a virtual assistant if I was losing money on that. So it was a question of, is the virtual assistant going to be able to do enough work to cover the cost